Now let's go back to the card in Ireland this weekend. Like I said, massive FOMO. Oh my God, there I am watching it. 3 Arena on fire. It was so much better than the May card, especially because of the ending, and everyone went home happy. But it was just great fight after great fight, and a lot of the Irish fighters won. And so everyone just seemed to be in great spirits, in great moods. Now, the fighter who kicked off the main card wasn't representing Ireland, although she was wearing green. She has been on this show before, once in studio, beginning of the year, and it's been quite the year for her. In fact, she is ending the year 4-0, undefeated still, a perfect 9-0, interim champion, WBC interim champion again in boxing. That is 126. And she has positioned herself for a massive, gigantic 2024. And so we started the year with her here in studio before her first fight of 2023 at the Hulu Theater, just a few blocks from here in New York City. Let's check in with the Olympian, the pride of Australia, the one and only Skye Nicolson, who had a massive win over Lucy Wildheart on Saturday, and see what her plans are for 2024. There she is. Hello, Skye. How are you?
Hello. Hi.
I gave you a lot of titles. Also, the darts queen. You set off this whole darts journey for us. 2-0 against me. I mean, you're undefeated in all sorts of sports in 2023. So congrats on a massive year. If we would have talked like off camera, whatever, I know we talked a little bit about your plans for this year when you were in studio. Was this how you expected the year to go? Was this how you planned it out?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, obviously the plan's always to win. But yeah, I feel like we're moving in the right direction. I feel like everything's going to plan. I feel like I'm getting better every fight. I'm a student of the game. I'm learning all the time. And I feel like I'm getting in the ring a more well-rounded fighter each time. And yeah, ready for a huge 2024 now.
Okay, so what was more exciting, winning the WBC interim title back in September or getting your first stoppage as a pro and your first stoppage in quite some time? What was bigger for you?
No, it was, yeah, this one was definitely bigger. Obviously, winning the interim title was special. It was a really cool experience fighting in Mexico, obviously. But Dublin was special. Being on the Katie Taylor undercard in Dublin, it had its all own special feels. But to get my first stoppage, I was very happy with that. I feel like I showed new levels again to what I can do. And yeah, no, it was a very successful night.
So could you describe what was the week like and even the venue like on Saturday? Because there was so much hype for this fight, but also I felt like a little bit of anxiety from the Irish fans because they were worried this could be the end for Katie if she got beat badly. Of course, it didn't turn out that way. But just to be a part of something like that as a female boxer, here are two legends and especially one massive legend at the top of the bill, and you're kind of that next wave coming up. In some ways like a byproduct of the success that she has had over the last few years as an Olympian. What was the mood like? What was the vibe like? Could you describe it?
Yeah, it was. There was like a little bit of an eerie feel to like people just not knowing how the fight was going to go, people worrying that we'd seen the best of Katie Taylor and it was going to be kind of like the end of Katie Taylor. So there was an eerie feel around fight week. She was quite cold, quite absent from a lot of the media stuff. So yeah, I think it did feel a little bit weird, but there was good energy. There was good energy around fight week. There always is around any fight week, but yeah, it was a little bit of an eerie one. Obviously, after the first result, when Chantel Cameron beat her in her homecoming. So obviously it was a bit of an all or nothing for Katie Taylor on the line, and yeah, she was very zoned in, and yeah, not her usual self. She wasn't going around doing all the media rounds, kissing every baby's head that she walked past. So yeah, it was different, but obviously she did exactly what she needed to do to make sure she got the job done on Saturday night.
Yeah, thanks for rubbing it in. She canceled on us as well, like an hour before coming on the show, or supposed to come on the show on Wednesday. She had a lot going on. So I understand, but I think a lot of people.
I think you were on a list of people she
okay.
She did that too, yeah.
Yes, but it's all good. We still love her. You fought on big stages before and had big fights. Did you feel more nervous for this one, considering the buzz in that arena and how big this event was?
Not really. I feel like the bigger the event, the bigger the occasion, the better the opponent, all these things, I feel like I rise to that. I feel like that's where you see the best me. So for me, it was my dream. I was doing what I love and living the dream. So for me, like I rise to the occasion. That doesn't make me more nervous. If anything, it just makes me perform better. So
What is it like? What is going on in your mind? Like I see when you walk out, you're smiling. It looks like you're like walking out in like to a parade. You're shaking everyone's hand. You're waving and stuff like that. Even your song, "She's a Lady," like that's not a typical fight song. What is going on? How are you so jovial and happy when you're walking out?
I feel like I'm not a typical fighter anyway. So for me, like I just like to be in my zone. I like to feel happy. I like to feel relaxed because that's the kind of fighter I am. When you watch my fights, you see I'm smiling throughout the fight. I'm having fun out there. I'm doing what I love. And when I'm in my zone, when I'm relaxed and happy, that's when I perform my best. And that's where like you'll see my best performances. When I'm tense or nervous or I don't know, I feel like it just wastes energy.
Wow. So you never get nervous? You never get anxious? How's that
No.
possible? You're going out there to fight in front of thousands of people. Big
I don't know.
stakes,
I
huge
love
fights
it.
coming up. No nerves? No jitters?
No, no.
What?
I feel so cool like walking out. Like I just feel like I'm born for this. Like this is what I do every day in the gym and now I get to do it in front of all these people and show these people what I do.
Have you
I
always
don't
been
know,
that
it's
way?
just
Like even
weird.
Olympics, no nerves?
Olympics no nerves, like weirdly no nerves. It freaked me out a little bit how not nervous I was for the Olympics because obviously that was the dream for so
Yeah.
long was being there and I had this whole thing built up in my head and then I got there and was just like so chill and it was just like every other time but I did used to get a little bit nervous in my teen years but yeah it passed. I
Wow.
think like I trust my training and I trust my preparations and I know the work that I put in day in day out that when I go in there I just feel like I don't have anything to be nervous about. I trust myself and what I've done and I know I'm just going to go out there and showcase what hard work I've put in.
By the way, why do you come out to that song?
I don't know. I like it. I hear a song during a training camp and if it gets me in that zone, that happy, relaxed, cool state of mind. I don't know. I feel like I kind of just see it. I'm like, I can see myself walking out to this. And it was the same with that song. I heard it during training camp, like during the camp in the lead up to this fight. And I thought, yeah, I think I'll walk out to that. I just did.
Okay. Wow. Simple as that. By the
Yeah.
way, going back to the Olympics for a moment, the last time I did speak to you was back in Dublin in May, and you seemed like quite close to going back and trying out for the Olympics in 2024 in Paris. Ultimately, you decided against it. I know you've spoken about this before, but not to us. Why did you make that decision to stay as a pro and continue on this journey?
I feel like I knew deep down that I didn't have that same hunger and want for the Olympic gold medal anymore after my first year in the pros. But there was like a little thing in the back of my mind that was just like a like, what if the Olympics come around and you regret this, like for not going and trying to do it? So I felt like I had to really, really test myself to see if it was what I wanted to do. And I went and met up with the Australian team and I trained in their international training camps and I was back sparring with all the amateurs again. And I just knew in my heart of hearts it just wasn't for me anymore. I had new goals. I'm on this new adventure and I've got like the world at my feet in my pro career and I just felt like it wasn't for me anymore. And I knew that I was on the right path and I wanted to go all in. And I felt like I hadn't gone all in on my pro career yet because I just still had this in the back of my mind. And I just got to that point where I was like, no, this is what I want to do. And I'm on the right path now and I need to keep going.
So you're good with that decision. No second guessing.
Absolutely no regrets at all.
Okay. I
Yeah.
wonder if you agree with this sentiment. I feel like there's a massive difference between the Skye Nicolson that we've seen in the last two fights compared to the first two fights of this year. I know you were disappointed back in February with your performance, and maybe some people were critical that you weren't aggressive enough. I feel like the one that we've seen, the Skye Nicolson that we've seen in the last two fights in particular, completely different and way more aggressive. That's the big difference. I thought you were this close to getting a stoppage in your last fight back in September. Do you agree with that? And if so, what has been the difference?
Yeah, definitely. So after that second fight of this year, that was when I went and and did the amateur stuff and made my final decision. And I feel like coming back from that decision, it was like a weight was off my chest. Like I knew 100% now, like I'm all in on my pro career. There's no Paris 2024 in the back of my mind anymore. Like I'm doing this. And I feel like just actually making that commitment, everything changed. My training changed. I was willing to adapt my style, try new things in sparring, be more spiteful, sit down on my shots, and things just started clicking and working in training and sparring, and it's starting to transfer into my fights. I just feel like I keep saying this, but it's so frustrating for me and my team because obviously we see a lot more than obviously the 9 or 10 rounds that you guys see in the fight. So I feel like you guys are seeing 20% of what I actually can do. And I'm so excited because I just know that every fight I'm going to keep showing a little bit more. And I just know that as the opposition get better as well, you're just going to keep seeing a better me as well. And I've been saying it from the start, and I feel like I'm always repeating myself, but I'm so excited for the future because I just know I've got so much more to show and to give.
Why do you think we're only seeing that 20% and not the full 100% that you can offer?
I think a lot of the reason is probably because I haven't been tested yet. I feel like I don't even need to get out of second gear to win my fights comfortably at this point. Also, a lot to do with that would be it is all still very new for me. The pro stuff, it's never been ingrained in me to go out and stop someone or to hurt someone. So these are all new for me, because for me it was always point scoring boxing and just jab and move. And now I'm entering a new world after 15, 16 years, 150 amateur fights, where I never had bad intentions. I didn't go out there trying to, not even to entertain really. I was just going out there to win on points. That's all I cared about. So it's a new world for me, and it's not something that just changes overnight, but we're seeing those changes in the gym, and I know it's going to keep transferring in every fight, and I'm going to keep showing more and more.
Okay,
every fight.
So let's talk about potential big fights and big tests. You've been very vocal, especially as of late, about wanting to fight Amanda Serrano, the undisputed champion at 126.
Of course.
I saw the video of you, running out after the win, back into the locker room and saying Serrano next. What do you say to the people who say that you are crazy for wanting to fight a veteran like Amanda Serrano, undisputed champion, who think you have no chance of not only beating her, but competing with her?
Mm-hmm. I say we'll see. Obviously, I want the Serrano fight. She's the champion in my division. I want to be world champion. I want to prove to the world that I'm the best, and I want to do that by beating the best. Every time I call out Serrano, it's never because I disrespect her or don't think she's good or whatever. Like, I want to fight the best. That's why I'm calling her out. I want to show my levels. I want to prove that I'm worthy. So that's why I call her out. It's never out of disrespect. I know that 90% of people write me off in that fight, and I do not care. I believe I win that fight. My team believes I win that fight. My style is all wrong for her. I keep saying this, but it's okay. I don't want to talk about it. I want to prove it. I want the fight. The ball's going to be in her court. I'm going to be her mandatory, and it's going to be completely up to her whether she takes the fight or she leaves the belt. For me, I want that fight. I don't want to fight for a vacant title against somebody else. I want to beat the best.
Why do you think your style, is bad for her?
I believe that my style upsets her because I'm not going to stand in front of her. She's flat-footed. She's strong. She's very aggressive, very strong, but she's flat-footed. She's got slow feet. And she looks good against someone who stands and trades with her, and that's not what I would do. I would use angles. I would box and move. I would set traps. I'll walk her onto shots. I'll have her walking into the ropes and making her look silly. And that's what I do to my opponents, and that's why so many people keep saying Skye hasn't fought anyone good. But everyone thought Lucy Wildheart was good when she went the distance with Michaela Mayer, when she went the distance with Estelle Mosley. They didn't do to her. They didn't do to Lucy Wildheart what I did to Lucy Wildheart. I made Lucy Wildheart look silly for 9 rounds and then finished it. But people don't see that. They think, oh, Lucy must have had a bad night. because we've seen what Lucy can do against better girls in higher weight divisions. No, actually, I'm better. You just don't see it because I make people look bad.
First of all, I love this shit talking, Skye. This is very fun. Second of all, is part of the reason for this that we're hearing here? Do you feel like you don't get the credit and respect that you deserve?
I mean, I don't care about credit and respect. At the end of the day, I just want to prove myself in the ring because I know my performances are going to keep shutting up the haters, shutting up the doubters. My results will speak for themselves. But I want to fight the best. I want to beat the best. The doubters and the haters are the ones saying she hasn't fought anyone good. She hasn't been tested. Give me the fight then. We'll see. We'll see. She's not ready for Serrano. Okay. Give me the fight then. Let's see.
Okay, so how confident?
Because I know.
How confident are you that your next fight will be against Amanda Serrano?
Not confident, to be honest.
What? Why?
I was actually quite confident. I thought, you know what? This will be the one where she looks at it and goes, you know what? Who else really is there at 126 that I can fight next? But she tweeted about an hour ago saying, my schedule's full. Good luck to her.
About you?
I'm too busy.
About you?
Yeah.
Oh, she tweeted this an hour ago? I was doing the show. What did she say? Should I pull it up here?
Yeah, pull it up. I might have even sent it to you.
Oh, okay. Well, sorry. I don't look at the phone. We don't take breaks, unfortunately. Here we go. I'm going to get it. Serrano, this is what she had to say. Okay, Serrano sisters, she wrote, oh, here it is. Okay, did some work and a little something of a workout before I head out for some house chores. I'm shooting another commercial Thursday. Yay. Time to get my fight schedule set. Just be on the lookout. I'm saying no more. Okay, that's not so bad. She says she wants to get her fight schedule set. No?
And then she replied to Boxing Social's interview talking about fighting me.
Okay. Oh, I see.
Can you see her reply?
I have other plans and a full schedule. Good luck to her. Ah, well, that's disappointing.
Yeah.
Now, why do you think that is? So this is my perspective. My perspective is the Katie Taylor fight is a legendary fight. The first fight was legendary. I can understand why that would be something that she would want. Based on what happened on Saturday, I could also foresee Katie fighting Chantel next, and maybe that not being in the plans. Correct me if anyone feels otherwise, including yourself. I don't think there's a bigger fight for her than you, considering your popularity, considering your record, considering what you've done and the interest that you have drummed up over the past 2 years. There's nothing, I mean, just comparing you to her past few opponents post Katie, no one compares. So why do you think she is saying this?
At 126, I'm the fight. So unless she's not interested in remaining undisputed at 126 anymore, for whatever reason, her other plans that she might share with us soon, I don't understand it because she doesn't think I'm ready for her. She doesn't think I've earned my place, but I'm going to be her mandatory challenger and it's going to be up to her. So for me, I don't see any other fight at 126 that makes sense for her. So unless her plans are to no longer be the reigning queen at 126, then I don't really have an answer for you.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Her last fight was 3-minute rounds, right? And that was a big deal clearly for her, but WBC didn't recognize that. And so that might be part of the problem. If she says to you, okay, fine, I'll fight you, but it's 3-minute rounds, what's your response?
To be honest with you, I believe 3-minute rounds suits my style. I'm not advocating for 3-minute rounds for women's boxing. I think for women's boxing as a whole, I think 2-minute rounds has been serving women's boxing well. I think it's kept the fights exciting. It's forced the pace of the fights, and it's got more eyes on women's boxing. But I also have to follow the sanctioning rules, and I would fight her under any sanctioning rules. If WBC turned around and said, okay, we'll do the fight over 3-minute rounds, let's go. I'm all in.
What if WBC says no, but the other three say yes, which was the case for her last fight in October?
She won't fight me. She won't fight me for those belts because I'm not her mandatory opponent in any of those sanctioning bodies. So it's political and it's annoying, but yeah, I don't know how else I can get that fight at this point.
Have you lost all hope, or do you think it's possible?
I haven't lost all hope. I feel like I feel like when the mandatory order is made and she's actually asked, will you fight her or will you vacate, and she actually has to make that choice, then maybe she might turn around and say, oh, well, she's asked for it, she's going to get it. Let's see. But I don't know at this point.
When is that expected to happen?
I don't know.
Could it happen soon?
Yeah, I believe so.
What if
hopefully by Christmas? It'll be a nice Christmas present.
Yes. Would you be willing to fight her in her home country of Puerto Rico?
Anywhere in the world. I know Matchroom has had talks with governments in Australia about having the fight in Australia, which I think would be amazing, but I would happily fight anywhere in the world. I think I've proven that in my 9 fights in 6 different countries, but
right, that is true.
Anywhere.
Yes. And I know you just went to Mexico to fight the Mexican champion there back in September. And by the way, I must say, what a gesture, what a classy move on your part to include the name of her husband on your shorts on Saturday. And not only that, I noticed, and we're showing we're showing the picture right now. It says, "Rest in peace, Diego Arrua." Very, very nice. I mean, just beyond nice that you would do that. And I even noticed after the win in September, for several days, you didn't even acknowledge the victory. You're quite active on social media, and you went completely dark. How did you deal with all of that? How did you process all of that? For those that don't know, her husband, who's her head coach, unfortunately passed away in the middle of the fight, essentially, and it was pretty. Yeah, it was pretty shocking to see towards the end of the fight.
It was, the last 10 seconds of the last round, he collapsed and had a heart attack and was never revived. It was something you can never really be prepared for or expect, and to be honest, it didn't sit well with me. I really struggled emotionally with what had happened, and celebrating the win just wasn't even an option. It didn't feel right at all. I didn't feel happy. I didn't feel excited, which was sad because at the time it was a career best performance for me. But what my opponent was going through was beyond imaginable. Basically, it was horrific. It was just it was horrible timing and just something you couldn't be prepared for. And I did struggle with it for a little while after the fight, and that's why I wanted to have that tribute on my shorts in this fight for Diego Arrua and for Sabrina, my opponent.
Very well done. Is it true that Ed Sheeran was looking for your locker room? Is this a real thing?
It's a real thing.
Come on, Ed Sheeran's asking to meet you?
Yeah. So I was the first ever boxing fight he's ever watched live.
Wow.
Got there early, right on 7 p.m. to watch the Aussie Bird, I was told.
Okay.
And he became a Skye Nicolson fan, which was really exciting. He came and had a little chat backstage after the fight.
What did you speak about?
It was really cool. He asked me where in Australia I was from. And I said Brisbane, and he said Brisbane Vegas. So he was he was a fan of Brisbane, so that was cool. We talked about where I'm training in England, a little suburb called Bromley, and it's actually where his dad's from. So no, we had a good little chat. He was just like really excited about being at the boxing and was loving the show and was really excited for Katie Taylor, obviously. And it was really cool. He was a really cool, casual, nice guy.
Wow.
It was weird.
The next walkout song now needs to be an Ed Sheeran joint, right?
Well, I believe IFL put him on the spot in his interview when he did say he became a Skye Nicolson fan.
Wow, there it is.
To line up the walkout for my world title fight. So we'll see if he's a man of his word.
Okay, wow.
Stay tuned.
Yes. Okay, so what do you think? In your heart of hearts, I feel like there's a chance. The one thing that I'm worried about, Matchroom MVP, they haven't been the best of friends. Do you think that could be a problem? What do you think?
I mean, I think it would probably go to purse bids.
Okay.
If she is to accept the fight. So I don't know if it would be a co-promotion. I think they would probably go to purse bids. And that will basically depend on where the fight would be, which promoter actually has the fight, all the other details, basically. But for me, I don't care. I don't care if it's on an MVP show or a Matchroom show. I don't care if it's in Australia, if it's in Timbuktu. I just want to fight. I want to fight the best. I want to prove I'm the best.
What's your message, sir? She's watching this right now. What's the message?
I know you don't think I'm worthy of fighting you, Amanda, but I promise you, I'm worthy. I'm more than worthy. I'm ready, and I would be honored to share the ring with a champion such as yourself.
Wow. I would love to see it. Could you imagine you in Puerto Rico fighting her? I mean, that would be gigantic. I know you'd want to fight back home, of course.
I would love it.
That would be insane. That crowd is nuts. They had a WWE
Let's go to
event.
Puerto Rico.
Oh my God, it would be incredible. The crowd in Puerto Rico, they had a WWE event in May there. It might have been the greatest crowd I've ever experienced. They are, and I just watched it on television, but they were insane. For one of their own fighting, you have Bad Bunny walk her out. You have Ed Sheeran walk you out. Come on. It's all coming together.
Let's go. Let's go.
When would you like to fight again?
For me, ideally, I would like probably April. I've had obviously a very busy 9 fights in 18 months. So a little bit of downtime now, and then obviously if I'm fighting the queen of boxing, I would like a full preparation from the new year. So I think April would be a really good time. But again, beggars can't be choosers at this point. I want the fight anywhere, anytime. I just want the opportunity to show the world.
I love it. One last thing before I let you go. A lot of people were very mean to me over the weekend, came at me, including, she wasn't mean, but she did come after me. Clarissa Shields herself, she was unhappy that I called Katie the greatest of all time. She was very upset about this, and her fans were very upset. You're an expert. I am not. Who's the greatest of all time in female boxing?
You can't really not put Clarissa at number one.
Okay.
A lot of people have it as shared number one with Katie Taylor, but it's very hard to put anyone above Clarissa and what she's done.
2 Olympic golds, undefeated.
Yeah.
Right. Multiple weight classes.
Undisputed in multiple weights. She's done the biz, and she's the real deal.
Who's fought tougher competition?
You know what? Katie's weight division and surrounding weight divisions is obviously a lot more. There's a lot more depth, in my opinion, because the average population of women is just that's the average size woman.
Right.
Obviously, Clarissa fights in heavier weight divisions, so there's less depth there. But in saying that, she has fought and beat great talent and made it look easy.
Mm-hmm.
People like Sam Marshall. So you can't really ever take away from what Clarissa's done. But yeah, it's personal opinion as well.
Yes, of course.
You are allowed to have your opinion on who you think is the greatest of all time, and it doesn't have to be who everyone else thinks or who somebody else thinks.
Oh my God, they were coming after me. The point is, the good news is the fact that we can have these debates surrounding women's boxing in 2023 going to 2024. 10 years ago, there was no debate to be had, right? There was nothing to talk about, really. There was a couple of people here and there. Yeah. The fact that we could talk about you against Amanda and Alicia is going to come back, and Katie and Chantel and Clarissa and all her opponents. I mean, it's just Sandy Ryan coming up. She got robbed in her last fight, and I know Katie gave her some big props over the weekend as well. Like, there's just a lot to like, and it's great to see, and I'm so happy that women's boxing is getting this kind of love, and very happy for you as well. So congratulations. Well done. Congrats on an incredible 2023. Hoping for big things for you in 2024, and hopefully you get that fight early next year, and we can answer this question once and for all.
Yes, I hope so. Fingers are crossed. Yeah, let's see. We'll see what happens. Ball's in her court now.
All right. Good luck to you, Skye. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. See ya.
There she is, Skye Nicolson, undefeated, 9-0, made quite the case for that fight. I would love to see it. And I knew it. I knew when she said Clarissa Shields, I knew there would be a message waiting for me from New York Rick. saying, tell Skye I say thank. I knew there was something. I felt it when she said it. I just felt it.
The GOAT.
I maintain I am correct. But listen.
The GWOAT. The GWOAT.
It's, man, she was all up in there. People are coming after me. Jeez. You know, by the way, I haven't changed my stance. I've said the same thing.
No, you've been very consistent.
Maybe the loss hurts my case. The loss back in May, of course. But I would say the redemption makes it an even stronger case. Great stuff there from Skye. I love the energy. I love the passion. I love the case that she is stating for herself. So let's see what happens. I would love to see it happen in 2024.